Are we rolling again? Okay.
I guess I could say that I came from a fire department family.
My father was a firefighter. He hired on in 1947 as a volunteer fireman in Draper, Utah, and got hired full-time in, oh golly, I guess August of 1953. Back then we had to move to Murray. We lived in Draper at the time and had to live in Murray, so kind of worked an 8-hour shift, then you were subject to callback all the time. So I started as a volunteer fireman for county out of headquarters station down there on 3900 South Main Street. And then they were going to hire people, the first hire off the street in April 1971 is when I started. They took care of the volunteer firefighters first before they hired off the street.
Little Joe Terry, Jr., and he was a neat kid. I remember one house fire we got on, and we got to it, and I'd assumed command in that, and they were down in the basement. Larry Olson was another one that was there with me. Good man. And I was watching outside in that, and we'd had black smoke coming up out of the chimney, and it turned to white, and I thought, well, they got it. Well, Joe Terry was standing right at the head of the stairs, and about that time, it built up down in there, and it blew. And Larry Olson, I don't remember who the other one was, but they came up out of there like you couldn't believe. And Joe Terry, he stood there, held his ground with the hose line, helped him out to get out.
Well, one that just really tore me apart was on Wasatch Boulevard. It come in as he'd gone over rolled off the edge of about 38 40th south. Went off the edge, but he's carrying liquid asphalt. Hot, real hot. Went over and hit a huge rock, and it pushed the front of the tanker that was holding. Turned all that liquid asphalt loose and just cooked him right there. He was alive for a little bit, but he died right shortly as we was trying to get him out of there. But you couldn't walk out on that asphalt because it'd burn you. But that was a terrible thing, affected me some, seeing that, but
working with Earl Holt and Gary Jones up at Ochre Shadows, we got a dishwasher or a clothes washer to wash our rags in. And Gary Jones is a horseman, and he says, "Oh, that's great." He says, "I'm going to bring my horse blankets down here and wash them." We got that. And so Earl, being the comedian he is, Gary came down on a weekend, had his horse blankets and everything Earl put out of order on the on this brand new clothes washer. And so Gary grabbed all these blankets and got it over there, and he says, "Out of order? I don't understand." And Earl says, "Well, what part don't you understand? Out of order." It was just a continual deal. Gary was kind of vulnerable to Earl. They were best of friends, and got along great. But
some of the practical jokes I used to play or put in some of the things was when a guy would fall asleep in one of the chairs or something, on a Saturday or a Sunday or the evening or even at lunchtime, I had a tendency to paint their glasses either with shaving cream or Squint Sondrup, Jim Sondrup. I painted his one time, and he had pretty thick glasses. And I painted his with Hershey's Cocoa one time. I just completely darked out his glasses with Hershey's Cocoa. And it was when headquarters was being remodeled, and they were all of the radon was being taken out, and they were out at Murray City. They were sharing the station out in Murray City. They were in a trailer behind Murray City Station. And I Hershey'd out Hershey's syrup all of his glasses. And we got dispatched to sound an alarm for a structure fire. And Squint jumped up and run right into the wall. And then he got mad. And he came after me. He was pretty mad. He chased me all around that station, Murray. In fact, I had to hide in a tree for a couple hours before he calmed down.
That's one thing I remember is that fire, how quiet it was, and just hardly any traffic on the road, and looked over there and you just could see just the glow of the fire and just the smoke going straight up in the air.
That's what I miss the most, is the camaraderie. And we still have it today. I still have it today. The friends you make in the fire service, in my generation, are friends for life.
Well, camaraderie, really, with the guys.
Well, it was very rewarding being able to help people on that, and I did enjoy that part. And then just the association with the guys at the fire station, that was very good too. And then like I said, you know, helping the people, that was we could joke around at the station, but as soon as we got a call, then it was down to business.
The camaraderie. We had a ball. It was a great group of guys that cared for each other and looked out for each other's interests.
It's the greatest job in the world. Fire service is the greatest job in the world.